Hi everybody, it's Steve Halley here with the Family Peace Initiative, and welcome to the 2022 Facilitators Tool Chest blog for January of the new year. Trying to think of what I wanted to offer you this month, and I think what I'd like to share with you is the value of connection. To start this out, I want to tell you that have been a practicing songwriter over the years. I've certainly amateur in that way, but Dorothy and I have played in a band, and we have had a chance to perform in songwriters festivals, a cool one down in Pensacola, Florida. And along the way, I've had a chance to meet some really remarkable folks who have written world famous songs. And I've had a chance to learn from them what it takes to write a great song. And I remember asking somebody, one of the songwriters, Brett Jones, as a matter of fact, about why he picked a certain phrase to put in a song. It's an unusual phrase. It's just like, why on earth, of all the phrases that you could have picked to put in there, why did you do that? And he looked at me and he said, because it worked. If it's not going to work, I'm not putting that in my song. It didn't have a personal connection. It didn't have anything else other than it worked in rhythm and meter, in rhyme, and it went and it hit the big time. And I always remembered that, to go with what works. Fast forward to being in Topeka and working in battering intervention programming, and we started a relationship with the Department of Corrections and started working with their people who were released from prison and out on parole. And Jimmy came into our program. Jimmy had been in prison for 5 years, and he was released. He was going to be on parole for a long time. And he was one of these people that had marginal social skills. He had a personal energy about him that certainly made me feel like I wanted to distance myself from him. I didn't want to move toward him. I wanted to get away from him. There was something about his social skills, his personal interaction with people that was generally just designed to repel people. But at the same time, Jimmy was very interested in a connection. And I understand that connection is a significant part of the change process. Without connection, we're probably ineffective. And so I was faced with a problem. I knew that connecting was the key to working with Jimmy, but I also felt the defense system of driving people from connection was powerfully working, and I was really struggling with being willing to step forward, to step towards, instead of what I was doing, stepping away. And then one day, Jimmy came in and he was desperately working to connect socially with people and having no success. He said something about being in prison and finding a way to pass his time. And he said, while I was in prison, I made a guitar. And I heard that. I'm a guitar player. And so I said, Jimmy, what do you mean you made a guitar while you're in prison? And he says, I made a guitar. I didn't have anything to do. I was bored, looking for a way to spend my time. And so I made a guitar. And you might be interested to know that it's made out of paper. Like, what? What are you talking about? How do you make a guitar out of paper? And he says, well, it's made out of paper and other objects. So all the objects are things that are legally and readily available in prison. And I said, Jimmy, you have to bring me that guitar. I want to see that. Can you bring it to me? He says, not only will I bring it to you, but I will play it. And I said, Jimmy, that would be amazing. I would love to see this guitar and look it over, and I would also love to hear you play it. And so a couple of weeks went by, And Jimmy walked in with kind of a large bag. And as we checked in for group, he said, you know, I brought my guitar. I'd like to share it with you when the time was right. And I said, Jimmy, right after check-in, we got to see this. And so we checked in, and then he pulled out this guitar. It's an amazing piece of craftsmanship. It's all made out of cardboard and paper, and you can see pencil leads here for the pegs, razor blade handles for the turning, deck of cards, decorating it. It's amazing. And I was struck by this work of art, and then he sang a song and he tuned it. The strings are made out of dental floss, braided dental floss. And he sang a song and performed on this paper guitar. And then he offered me a chance to perform a song as well. And I played a song on his guitar. And here we are in a battery intervention program, building a connection around something that was very important to him. And that was the beginning of a road with Jimmy that lasted several years. He completed our program. He stayed on to help other people with their workbooks and help them with the special processes that go on in our program. And amazing. It was a matter of connection. And playing guitar in a battery intervention program, to me, is not written in any curriculum, you know, although maybe it should be. But going back to Brett Jones and the phrasing in his songs, and he says, I'm going with what works. What is it that would help me to build a connection with those who don't want a connection with me, or who desperately want it and don't have any idea how to navigate that? It was a guitar, it was a craftsmanship, it was something that Jimmy was proud in, that I had a natural curiosity about, and it was the beginning of a very lengthy relationship. So I want you to know that, you know, we can write a lot of curriculums and we can come up with these amazing processes of how to interact with the participants, but the connection can be built on something fairly unorthodox, such as a guitar built in prison out of paper. So to end the story, Jimmy brought this guitar into my office and he says, Steve, I would like you to keep this for me because it has a lot of negative energy for me. It reminds me of my prison days and I don't really want to remember them in this way. And so if you wouldn't mind, would you care for my guitar? And I was paused because to me, this is an amazing piece of craftsmanship. But I agreed to hang it on my wall until he was ready to take it back. I've always thought of it as Jimmy's guitar that I'm saving for him until he's ready. And about a year ago, Jimmy passed away. It was a sad event, and he'd been a big part of our program and contributed to the videos that we have made that perhaps you've seen. But I want you to know that the blog today is not the sadness about Jimmy's passing and how much I miss him, but doing what works, going after the unorthodox to be able to build a connection so that we can do the work that we have to do. Without a connection, we're stuck. And Jimmy taught me that if we build a connection, if we find some common ground, amazing things can happen. Go find that common ground. Connect with the people that you're serving and watch the magic take place. Thank you all for listening. I look forward to putting out another one of these in February. I have to tell you, our trainings are filling up, and if you are interested in taking facilitator training series workshops to help you learn how to incorporate a trauma-focused approach into your work, come sign up. We'd be happy to have you. They're online. You can take them from the comfort of your own home. comfort of your own office. And we look forward to having you here, and happy January.